Hello fellow travelers, welcome back to Tempus TV. Today we're going to be discussing the big talk about Thailand right now. As you may have heard, Thailand has reinstated some entry requirements due to the recent COVID outbreak in China and due to the fact that a lot of countries have been lifting regulations as far as travel goes, and there being a few outbreaks all over the world, Thailand seems to be buckling down a bit again on entry requirements. Now I do just want to preface this video by saying that this is all breaking news and things are kind of still up in the air right now. The article that I will be referencing is from the Bangkok Post, but I have read quite a few articles on everything that everybody's talking about, and it does seem that a lot of the information covered in this article does pretty much pertain to everything, and it does seem that there is a bit of consistency now, considering this whole new regulation was only announced and put into place pretty much about 24 hours ago. I also want to preface by saying that any of this is subject to change at any time. There are things in this article that might not be the same by the time that you watch this video, but I will continue to update as I learn and more information does come out. So if this video is a little bit older by the time you get to it, feel free to jump forward and watch some new videos. Or if you're catching this while it's pretty new, feel free to drop a subscribe below so you can stay updated on actually what's going on. All right, without further ado, we're just gonna kind of jump right into this article, and I'll kind of explain things as far as I know them as we go through the article. I will link it below, so I apologize if I'm looking away from the camera while I talk. It's a pretty lengthy article. I don't want to get anything wrong, so I'm going to be referencing it as I go. But like I said, this is from the Bangkok Post. It's titled COVID Jab Rules for Travelers Confirmed. Aviation regulator says requirement will apply to all passengers on international flights landing from 1 a.m. Monday. So that would be 1 a.m. tomorrow, which will be January 9th, I believe. Technically the 10th. I'm not sure if they mean that tonight or if they mean that tomorrow night. So the article starts out by saying the requirement that all international travelers show proof of full COVID-19 vaccination before boarding flights to Thailand will take effect from Sunday, the Civil Aviation Authority of Thailand CAAT said on Saturday. The aviation regulator has formally notified all parties about the change to arrival for international travelers aged 18 and over. They will take effect for flights landing in Thailand from 1 a.m. local time on Monday and will remain in effect at least until the end of the month. So this is the first thing that I think is probably going to change pretty quickly. I think they're just initiating it right now, so I would expect this, if things continue to go the way they are, that this will probably be something continuing to move forward and won't just be until the end of the month. Moving forward, the article continues. The vaccination requirement was scrapped last October, but it has been revived as travel from China is about to resume worldwide on a large scale. Many countries have responded with special measures out of concern that COVID-19 is sweeping through China since the country scrapped its zero COVID restrictions last month. So like we said earlier, this definitely has a big part to do with China releasing all their travel requirements. So people can pretty much just leave the country as they please now, and the COVID cases in China have been on an uptick for the past month or two. Public Health Minister Anutin, I'm not gonna try that last name just because I don't want to butcher it, but he said that any rules adopted in Thailand must not discriminate against any particular country. So that's the reason why it's going to be for all travelers and not just Chinese travelers. They just want to make sure that nobody's feeling like they're excluded, which I understand that. It continues on to say, according to the CAAT, everyone traveling to the country from Sunday must show proof of full vaccination or a letter certifying that they have recovered from COVID-19 infections no more than 6 months prior. Unvaccinated travelers must have proof of why they cannot receive a vaccine. Details of the approved vaccines and required number of doses are available on the CAAT website. So if you've gotten vaccinated and you want to make sure that the vaccination that you got is up to par for what they're going to be checking for, the article does mention that those are listed on the transit website for Thailand on the CAAT website. Moving forward, it says airlines will be responsible for checking the relevant documents before passengers board and must bar those without the correct paperwork. It is not clear whether passengers will also be required to show the documents in Thailand again when they land. So this is one that was kind of interesting to me, even though I came in July, and at that point they had pretty much dropped all the COVID restrictions, but I was still checked by my airline, which has been a thing pretty much the entire time. I wasn't checked when I came into Thailand, but a lot of international flights, the airlines themselves were still requiring vaccinations. So that really hasn't changed too much. And from what it sounds like here, initially, at least for now, it's gonna be your airline that's checking you before you get on the flight. So it's not like you will get to Thailand and then get turned around at the gate. But that could change at any time. As well, people who will be traveling from Thailand to a country where a negative RT-PCR test is a condition of entry must now show proof of health insurance. This is to ensure that the cost of their care will be covered if they test positive before leaving Thailand. So this is the one thing that I've noticed that is kind of hard to decipher, is who is really required to have travel insurance again. That right there says if you are essentially, if you're in Thailand, if you're coming into Thailand and then you're returning to a country where you're gonna need a test before you go back to that country, then you're gonna be required to have insurance before you land in Thailand to make sure that if you do get sick while you're here, or you gotta get a test before you leave, that you are covered to get that test so you can leave the country on time. Moving forward, Thai passport holders or travelers in transit are not required to submit proof of COVID vaccination or hold a COVID insurance policy. So, Thai passport holders coming into the country, if you are out of the country and you're a Thai resident, and for some reason you are not vaccinated, you're gonna be fine to come back in no matter what. Or if you have a connecting flight through Thailand, you're also not gonna be under these regulations. I don't know how to say that. A Yemen Airlines flight with 200 passengers is scheduled to be the first flight from China to touch down at Suvarnabhumi Airport on Sunday. So what does this all mean? That's the end of the article. Still a little bit vague, honestly. I have checked on the embassy website as well, and like I said, I've read quite a few articles on this, and they're all essentially kind of vague, and I just think that has to do with so much of this information still coming out, and nobody's really had a chance to put forward the straight ahead rules yet. They're still kind of implementing everything. But from what it sounds like, if you are planning to come here within the next month or two, I would just plan on having to be vaccinated, plan on having to have travel insurance. Now, if you have come in the last 6 months, that's really not that big a deal. At least right now, it doesn't seem like they're gonna reinitiate the Thailand pass or anything like that. It's just sounding like you're gonna have to prove your vaccination before you even get on the flight, which, like I said earlier, is really not that big of a change. Even though stuff has lightened up in a lot of countries, most international flights are still requiring proof of vaccination before you get on the plane. But as of right now, if you are not vaccinated, it's sounding like it might be a little bit difficult for you to book an international flight. And I would expect a lot of countries to continue to follow suit with this, just because China is opening back up again and they have essentially lifted all their regulations. So there's gonna be a lot of Chinese travelers leaving again with cases rising in China. Now, if you are not vaccinated, does this mean that you should cancel your trip altogether? Right now, if you can, I would suggest just kind of staying in a holding pattern. I have a pretty good feeling that in the next week or two, we're gonna get a lot more solid information as to what the requirements are. But right now, I would plan on, if you want to come here and you're not vaccinated, if that's not something that you're willing to do, I would start to double check and make sure that you can get things in line if you do have to cancel flights, accommodation, anything like that. If you are okay with getting vaccinated, I would go ahead and jump on that right now, because most of the articles that I've read as well, it didn't say it in that one, but it says you're gonna be required to at least have 2 doses, which those 2 doses are gonna have to be spaced out. So you're gonna have some dead time in between there. It's not like you can just get one shot after the other. You're gonna have to spread them out a little bit. I will continue to keep you guys updated as I know more. I'm currently staying in Pattaya, Thailand, so it's a little easier to get some news on everything here. It's just a little bit easier access, and I do have some friends that are kind of on those front lines, so I might be able to get a little bit more information than anybody else. If you'd like to stay updated, feel free to just go down, like the video, drop a subscribe. If you do have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, and if I do have the information, I'd be glad to share it with you. Right now, it is a little hard. We're kind of all in the same boat. Everybody seems to just kind of be figuring things out, so it's kind of hard to say what's gonna be going on and what's gonna be not right now. But like I said, I would plan, if you're coming here in the next month or two, to be required to have your vaccination, be required to have health insurance. Just from everything that I've been seeing and reading so far, that sounds like it's gonna be the gist of pretty much everything. And if you're not able to get that done, it might be very difficult for you to get into Thailand at the moment. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Tempus TV. I hope you got some information. I hope I could alleviate a little bit of stress. Probably not though, honestly, just because there's just not a lot of information out there right now. I've been reading all day. I've been watching some other videos that people have thrown up. It just seems that we're kind of all in the same boat right now. So I just wanted to kind of throw some stuff out there in case any of my subscribers are currently wondering about it. If you do have any questions, like I said, feel free to slide down, drop it in the comments, and I'd be happy to answer any information that I do have. As always, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Have a great day.